trying to take my soul, and I can't hide no more. Stumble out into the light, raise my fists up to fight, then I catch your eye.
Of loving the
full of love. Lord, what have I done? I cry at your feet, wounded for me and all of the monsters and men. But here in your light, we can begin again. I'm my mother's child, I'm my father's son. It took me a while, but my time
of loving built a tower, you tore it down. I am weak, you are strong. Who can tame Leviathan? Mouth of Sheol sings alone. This week, I've been challenged with the
Yahweh gives and takes away. Will you curse or bless the
Luke 15.
name? Trial tests us like the flame.
Luke 15. Luke 15. of the prodigal son.
Nights blessed with peace wherever you lay down to sleep, and all things I'll make good for those who believe. May you grow from a seed into a strong, fruitful tree. As the days unfold, hold your breath to see. Life is a mystery, and joy disappears when the way is rough and steep. The love will make your days complete. Of your hands, help those in need, befriend the lonely, serve the weak, and forgive enemies. And if you find true love,
At the end of the passage, Jesus tells of how the father replies to the older brother who was faithful and remained with his
from your seed, help it to grow.
Luke 15 tells the parable of the prodigal son. Well, no matter what. Luke 15 tells the parable of the prodigal son. Prodigal son. At the end of the passage, Jesus tells of how the father happy day, for your brother was Romans 15:13. Romans 15. Romans 15:13. Within you. and husbands to love. Ephesians 5. Ephesians 5. Ephesians 5:20.
Wrecking ball, right? Awesome. Well, sweet, dude.
Hello again. Oh, no problem. I got you turned down enough, so if you scream, scream away. It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah, what had happened was apparently the network administrator had blocked all outgoing ports. So, like,
Mm,
anytime I was trying to send a signal um, to a server, it would, like, not obviously allow that connection to be established. So,
yeah,
it seems like now it's stable, and Hangouts is working too, which that's
awesome.
good. Yeah. So,
Good to hear.
I should be back on the grid, which is cool. But anyways, what are you up to today?
I am continuing on with my pixel art fiche,
Cool.
which is fun. I'm getting ready to set up a mini game for streams.
Oh,
That-
nice.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do it as an open source, so everybody on Watch Me Work can use it.
Dude, that would be sick.
Yeah. So basically, like the chat, it'll pull the chat, and if somebody says a certain command or a certain word, it'll move. I'm doing a fishing game, so it's gonna move the where you're gonna throw it,
Okay.
and somebody can send out the command to throw it,
That's awesome.
and yeah,
Just a little bit like interactivity
yeah,
between streamer and viewer and those sorts of things.
yeah, something to add to a stream and get people involved.
Brothers, by the
Yeah, that's the one thing I kind of struggle with on my stream is like interacting between, myself and the person watching. Like, I'm not very good at that, so that'd be cool to have something to do.
So I'm not a. I've done a little bit of video editing, but not to this level. I see that you, over and over again, go through the same clip. Why is that?
A lot of times it's audio synchronization.
Oh, okay.
Like for these that I'm working on right now, I'm using like a background music track, and I like to have it set at a certain place in the track before I start the video.
Okay.
So yeah, that that can be that. Other times, if I'm working on a project that uses like a really fast-paced track, normally I want to have the cuts in between shots to land on the downbeat of the music. So sometimes you have to kind of sit there and go back and tweak them until you get it just right. So
Interesting.
it can be a little bit tedious at times, but yeah, that's probably the reason for that.
Okay.
But yeah.
holy
Yeah, that's how I've been kind of approaching the collaboration streams like this. Is just kind of speaking my mind.
Yeah, for sure.
So-
No, and
Romans 12.
and I'm not saying that I've got the best way to edit by any means. I'm sure there's probably different ways, but for me, that's
Oh,
just
yeah.
the way that I can ensure that that I've got it cut the way it needs to be. So
Yeah,
um,
it's understandable. I used to edit my own YouTube videos, and that's pretty much all I know about editing.
oh
So-
yeah.
It's really cool to learn.
Which is
Yeah, I actually last week I was on a trip with this group of people, and we had a team. We had 4 guys who just went out and captured footage, and then me and another guy just sat in like what we called the command center and just edited video all week. So I was
Oh,
getting
jeez.
like I was
Awesome.
totally blind. Like they would just bring me footage and then I'd have to make sense of it. So it was
Huh.
it was a really good challenge for me
to
because
see Jesus in you.
I'd never done it in that way before. Like I'd always had some kind of context to the footage I was editing, but this time it was a lot different. So,
I don't know if you're like detail of their lives.
but yeah. So,
Interesting.
It's
So
fun.
is that just a team building exercise type thing, or?
No, it was actually for a conference that was going on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I do a lot of work with, which I don't know if you've picked up on this from me. I try not to be overly, like, forceful about it, but I do a lot of work with like churches and stuff. So,
Oh, okay.
that's just kind of where I landed in my scheme of things, and I am a Christian, so it is kind of like a belief thing for me as well. So, so yeah, I kind of do a lot of work with that, and that conference this past week was a big conference with
Okay.
a
So now I know not to talk to you about religion. Got it.
yeah. Now I see a lot of things, I hear a lot of things, and honestly I try to listen more than I speak. So I don't think you'll ever hear me like being that person to like forcefully say anything to you or anything like that.
Well, I like that approach.
So
It's
yeah.
better than some people handle it. That's for sure.
Yeah, I grew up in a household where individualism was not always accepted.
Yeah.
And it was
Same
just
here.
yeah, and it wasn't necessarily anybody's fault in particular. It was just traditions, and I think the older generation was much more narrow-minded about kind of the outsider culture, and so
Yeah, to a fault. Yeah.
and so I kind of had to. I learned a lot of things the hard way, and I've tried to not be the things that I hated when I was growing up. So, that's my 2 cents. But so yeah. But the conference I was at was with like it was a large group of churches, and we had to do like daily recap videos, kind of going over like what happened that day, and so yeah, it was good. It was a lot of work, but it was good. So
Oftentimes I find
Those are usually the best days, is when you get a lot done and
yeah,
you learn a bit.
yeah, that's a win-win. If I can be doing what I love, obviously getting paid and learning all at the same time, like I couldn't imagine a better scenario.
my goal, I would not be a servant of Christ.
So
Do you have a hard time? Do you have a hard
Is this a different person?
yes. So,
Okay. I was like, wait, she got older.
yeah, right. No, the first one you were watching is actually my wife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then the one I'm working on right now is actually my mom. So this is kind of a it's a women's ministry that they mainly focus on like focus groups and like Bible study type stuff. But we also have like a video branch of things, and so we do daily videos that are just like short little 1 minute, like here's something to like make your day a little bit better kind of thing. And then
that's nice.
yeah, and most of the time they're all very like encouraging and uplifting, and then we also have like podcast style shows once a week. So I'm in charge of editing all of that content, and with these I do it in bulk, so I edit and schedule them out all at one time instead of doing it like every week or so. So like right now I have 48 of these to do, which is a ton.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of work.
It is. It's very tedious. Now, fortunately, the way that I do it, which it looks like I actually messed up on these, but the way I do it is just presets, and because they all follow the same format, I can kind of create one, make a preset, and then just apply it to the rest of them. So
Oh, awesome.
that
arise,
helps.
shine?
There's 4 different ladies. My wife was the first one I did, and then this is my mom, and then the next 2 are just like other women who help serve in the ministry with my mom. So
Glory of the Lord has risen upon
Cool.
you.
so yeah. Anyways, it's
God wants to God wants to God wants to God wants to bring with loud singing. God wants to bring. We need to remember. We need to remember home yet to come. Do you ever find yourself
Has Chris been on the Discord?
He's been on once or
everything
twice.
you need?
Okay.
I haven't seen him lately, but
Do you ever find your
Cool.
he
Yeah,
pops in every now and then.
that's cool.
Yeah, he's a busy guy, so.
He is. He is very busy.
God has a perfect. God has a perfect. Do you ever find your. God has a perfect path. Not be shaken.
Good old mechanical keyboard.
God.
Yeah, sorry, MX Blues,
Oh, no
man.
problem.
They're the best and worst thing about my setup.
God made you from a.
Yeah, Jasmine and Bronwyn always call
God has a
my
perfect.
keyboard a typewriter
Yeah, that's
because I have the same problem.
yeah.
God made you.
When I got it, I was still in school, and
Mhm.
I used to write my essays on it. And
Oh,
dude, my roommate.
yeah.
Fortunately, I only have one roommate to bother, but he would
Oh, well,
would
that's
get
good.
so mad at me, like, because especially like if I was writing like, and I was on a tight deadline, so I was like kind of writing fast. I usually,
Mhm.
the faster I'm writing, the more heavy I am on my keystrokes, and so
Mhm.
it was just bad news.
Yeah.
God made you.
I've been in both situations of being the one listening to the keyboard and being the one writing it, and it's just annoying on all fronts.
God's love for you.
That's right. Yeah. But honestly, I could never go back. I'm actually looking. I have a DOS keyboard, and it's how old is this thing? I don't know. It's getting up there in age. I think it's probably about 2.5 years old, and they just released a new model that's like fully RGB backlit and uses.
You cut out.
Oh, I did.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Nope. I think you lost connection.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Your stream went down, but
Yeah. No, I think our internet just like tanked itself there for a second because
oh, lovely.
yeah, it looks like because I noticed my bit rate on OBS dropped to 0, and then like the dropped frames started going crazy. But now everything's back to green, so we'll see. We don't
Yeah,
have
I think you have to restart on. No, you're good on Watch Me Work too. Awesome.
Yeah, that's good. I'm still maintaining my stream on Twitch, so I'm gonna keep streaming there for the time being, but I don't get a lot of traffic on there. But honestly, I think the video quality is a little better on Twitch, in my opinion, than it is on YouTube. But just a higher bit rate, it seems like.
Yeah. I've been wanting to talk to Chris about maybe switching to Twitch as the main
Wow,
video.
dude, that would be huge.
Yeah,
God made
because it's really easy to embed it. It's just it'll have the Twitch logo and
God's
everything
lovely.
on it as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. I think he likes using Hangouts on air because of how simple it is. There's just, I would
I
say.
don't think it's nearly as simple as everybody thinks it is.
Well, that's true.
I've been fighting with Hangouts since I first started Watch Me Work.
God's love for you.
Yeah.
Like trying to get into a meeting is nigh impossible for me
Right.
some days.
God's love for you. God's love.
Yeah. No, I understand.
God made you from a.
All right. So, if you're still watching my stream, what I'm doing right now is we set up a white screen,
With his love.
and so it's just a white like fabric, and then I put a lot of lighting and stuff on it, and then we have a teleprompter, and they'll just go through and do one by one each of the takes. So we'll just do like, you know, devotional 1, okay, boom, 2, boom, and then when it comes to editing, that kind of speeds up my process because I can just pull it all in one long timeline, and then just sort through based off of the audio pattern and see, you know, if I know, just looking at this audio wave, I can tell when she starts speaking. I can see when she messes up, because a lot of times they'll like giggle or something when they mess up, and it causes a peak in the audio, and so that way when I'm sorting through, it makes it really quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, I'm already probably almost done sorting all of hers, and you know, it only took me like 5 minutes. So
Every day is
Yeah, when I used to do recording, I used to
every day.
I used to have a button that I would press if I mess up and want to completely edit something out. So it made a really high peak, and that's how I
Sorry.
sorted through mine.
oh, cool.
So I did the same thing.
Every day
Yeah.
A similar thing, I should say.
That's awesome, man.
is an opportunity.
Yeah. It's a good trick for
Every day
new
is an
YouTubers too.
Yeah.
The Lord wants you to be financial uncertainties. I want to say must before. Then Jesus said to his disciples, every day
Looks
is an
like
opportunity.
she messes up on this one.
Every day is an opportunity.
Sometimes what we'll do is if they
The
if they
Lord
mess up a lot, we'll skip it and come back to it later.
face up to Jesus
So
and the
so that helps them a lot too, because there's just something about like messing up over and over again that it just gets really stressful.
Lord wants you to
Yeah,
be
So,
I can
the Lord
completely
wants you to be
relate to that one.
yeah.
wherever you go.
Okay. So
Especially when
that's-
you've been doing the same take for a good 30 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
It's
kinda,
like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of like the pressure's on, you know.
Mhm.
So okay.
Every day is an opportunity.
Here it is. This should be the take.
Every
By the way,
day is
your
an
taste in music is awesome.
Oh, thanks, man.
Phenomenal.
Um.
I was
Yeah.
over here singing along.
Yeah, I have it kind of quiet right now just because I actually have to use my speakers, but yeah, I listen to I listen to a pretty wide variety. Most of the stuff I play on stream is usually like they would consider themselves like a Christian band.
Really?
Some of them say like, you know, like they'll actually address certain like spiritual things. Other bands don't. They just kind of live the lifestyle and not necessarily make all of their songs like super Christian sounding. So
Yeah, that's one thing I've always liked about Christian music is sometimes you can't even tell that it's a Christian song.
Yeah.
And for me personally, like I grew up in a Christian household. I've heard a lot of Christian music,
right.
and it's all enjoyable. Even for people who don't have that religion.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, if
So.
anything, you're just gonna hear like, normally it's just gonna be a message that just kind of encourages people to, you know, like live a life that is, you know, just worth living, and like,
Yeah, absolutely.
so it's, yeah.
Every day is an opportunity.
Oh my gosh, she messed up on this take so many times.
Every day.
She'll do that, man. She'll get hung on one, and it's like she'll breeze through all the other ones, but there's one that's just gonna mess her up.
And follow me.
But fortunately, I keep the script open next on my secondary screen, so that like I can obviously script supervise as I'm working on it. Because I do try to keep them in order. So like for this one, I'll have to rearrange it back to where it belongs. So let's see. Yeah. That's 9. 10. 11. So yeah, once I get my main timeline sorted out, then I go through and delete the space in between each cut, and I'll make what's called a subsequence, which in a way it's basically just like a copy paste, and I'll take each of these cuts and make them into individual sequences. Or clips, I guess is a way to think of it. So it's pretty easy. You just select them, hit make subsequence, and then you just name it what you want to name it in your project folder. And there should be 12 of these. So if I've done my job right. Sometimes I lose my place when I'm doing it, and I have to keep counting them, and it takes a while, but it's still faster than doing each one manually. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Are we still having our admin meeting on Wednesday?
I believe so.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I
Haven't heard
missed
anything else about it, so.
I missed catching up with all you guys last week. So that's the problem with summertime. I'm usually doing all sorts of random stuff, and it's hard to.
Hey, you're keeping busy.
Yeah.
That's the key, is being able to handle the summer, because some people cannot.
Right.
And usually I'm one of those people. But this summer's been pretty good. I've been actually working a lot, which is nice. I'm working with a Shutterstock photo for this fish that I'm doing.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how hard it is to remove a watermark if you're doing it pixel based. Because that's what I have as my reference image.
Oh, okay.
And I'm kind of going pixel by pixel and modifying it to what I want it to be.
Yeah.
And the more I look at it, the more I realize that the watermark's still there. And I've spent a good hour trying to finagle it.
Yeah, Shutterstock, they have probably one of the more obnoxious watermarks, which,
Yeah.
I mean, it's good for them as a business.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad that they do it. It's just I'm not glad whenever I have to when I'm trying to do something that involves a lot of detail and having to go over it and over it and over it.
Right. Let's see. I'm gonna try not to kill my stream with this audio right now. Let me turn my mixer down. I do all my audio corrections in a separate program. I use Adobe Audition, and it's really nice because it talks between the two programs. So you can just hit you can be in Premiere and then say send this audio clip to Audition for editing, and it'll send it. You edit it, and then it re-imports it to the project seamlessly. So that's really nice to have.
Awesome.
Then I recall that Jesus loves us so much, qualities. He wants you to view yourself through his eyes that are full of love.
And I normally, for my audio, try to get it to -3 dB. That's normally what I consider adequate volume. So I'm pretty sure that's the industry standard for mastering. Yeah.
Huh.
Now, if I was
I did not know that.
If I was sending it if I was simply mixing it and sending it back to somebody for them to master, then I would do -11. But since I'm mixing and mastering, I do -3.
Huh.
So, yeah.
I did not know that was the industry standard for sure.
I mean,
That's interesting.
Of the people I've talked to that do this, professionally or whatever, that's what they recommend. So, but yeah.
Romans 12:1 and 2. I appeal to you, therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Romans
Excuse me. Sorry, I tried to mute in time.
Oh, it's okay.
Didn't work.
I've got a phone call coming in here,
Ooh.
so I gotta take that.
All right, man.
Come back.
therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present Romans 12:1 and 2. I appeal to you, therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to
So how did you find out about Watch Me Work exactly? Did Chris did he hunt you down on Twitch like he did me?
Chris popped in on Twitch, and it wasn't more of a hunt down, it was more just he was hopping in, chatting, and that was pretty much it.
Okay.
And then he just kind of referenced Watch Me Work, and so I checked it out and was like, yeah, I'd love to do it.
Cool.
That sounds awesome. So it was kind of a little bit of a hunt down, but also more just me looking into it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. He was really genuine with me. I didn't feel like he was like a salesperson knocking door to door, you know?
Well, yeah, because that's not who he is
Right.
at all. And I mean, we talk to him on a weekly basis, but even the newcomers are just like, yeah, it's just talking with Chris for a while, or now they're talking with me, because
Romans 12:1
that's what I feel like I'm always doing.
Yeah.
1 and 2. I appeal to you,
Yeah.
But that's good. We need that.
therefore, brothers.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
need somebody who can be like bridge that gap, you know?
Brothers, by the mercy
And I try to approach it the same way Chris approaches it, in that way of being very genuine and
Yeah.
sincere about the fact that we just want people on the site to help better it. Like,
Right.
it's all about helping other people,
Right.
which is what I really like about the site.
Same here. Yeah, it's totally just a community of people like trying to work together, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, I've never felt any sort of like competition or anything like that from anyone I've talked to, which is surprising because in a lot of creative communities, like inevitably you'll have like people competing with one another, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of why
Romans
I
to
like
see
the
Jesus
idea of the
in
EC, the exquisite corpse that's been going around, but I kind of feel like it's gonna cause too much problems eventually if we keep doing it. So that's why I'm trying to throw in this new idea. Well, not really a new idea, but the idea of art telephone,
I don't know if you're like
Yeah.
which is kind of like art Pictionary, I think is what people call it too.
I don't know if you're like me.
Yeah.
And just passing around a topic, somebody draws it, and then the next person has to guess what it is and draw what they think that guess means
I
to
don't know
them.
if
Okay.
And yeah, so that's coming up here in 4 days. Ugh.
Yeah. I didn't choose to do the corpse art or whatever this time around.
Yeah.
I just didn't have the time, like being out of town and stuff. So
Oh yeah, that's understandable.
oftentimes
Yeah, I found the biggest problem with doing these collaboration things is getting the people together,
yeah.
which is why
oftentimes
I decided to make the Discord server and all of that.
Right.
oftentimes
I love Discord, man. I love
Yeah.
everything that they're doing. You know, And the
Got a
fact that
really
it's
good
free
business model, and yeah,
Like-
it's great.
So, how
I
hard
could
was
go
it?
on and on.
How hard was it to
Oh.
set up on your end?
Fast.
Not at all, because I used to run TeamSpeak servers and Skype servers and all of that. So for me, it was really, really simple. I think for anybody first starting, it's a bit of a learning curve, but not too much to where you'd give up after a few,
Yeah.
like 30
Do
minutes
you have
of
a
it,
hard time?
because it wouldn't take nearly 30 minutes to do.
Right.
Plus, they have so many resources on Discord, the
Do you have a-
website, that it's really easy to do,
Cool. Nice.
which is
Yeah.
always a plus, because I remember going through the
Do you have a
TeamSpeak
har-
forums in order to find how to set up a server there. And that was a nightmare.
Do you have a hard?
Yeah, I've done my fair share of searching around forums for, desperate answers or
Cool.
whatever.
Do you?
Hmm.
So I know all about that. Just getting this a little too blue.
Oh, this fish is beautiful. Working on a beta fish.
Oh, awesome.
Currently. I can actually send you the print screen on Discord. That's the full fish. And this is the part that I've worked on so far.
Are you streaming right now to watch me work as well?
No.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering.
Yeah, this is more of just a side project while I'm waiting for my client.
Gotcha.
That's the full fish. Yeah. Beta fish, but yeah.
So I wasn't around the last meeting. I guess Chris announced that Ryan had to step down from being an
Yeah. That's pretty much all I know about it. So
Yeah, I was just wondering.
yeah, he stepped down. Which,
Your special qualities.
I think it was for time reasons.
Sure. Yeah, I
It's,
understand.
that
You.
trying to make a schedule is difficult. I also stepped down from doing the weekly streaming
Oh, I
because
see.
now that I'm getting commissions and stuff, it's kind of hard to plan out whenever I'm streaming.
Yeah.
If you have not,
Yeah.
Because some of my work I spend 20 hours working on and then crash immediately after.
Yeah, I understand.
Not being-
I like the concept of schedules. I mean, having a schedule is how you build an audience, because they can
Yeah, absolutely.
you have the consistency, but
God wants to bring.
yeah, a lot of times, especially creatives, we're the worst about doing things
Yes.
regularly,
God wants to bring.
Oh yeah.
because it's you never know when it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you get that crazy inspiration that you've been waiting on. I've been there so many times.
God
Yeah, I
wants to
think all of us artists have.
Yeah. So that's cool. So
God wants
do
to
you do
bring.
a lot of game programming as well? Have you?
God wants
I've
to bring
dabbled
back-
in game programming. I actually started doing a lot of programming
God wants to bring favor.
very recently, in the last year.
Okay.
But most of my expertise is from modeling and architectural design.
Gotcha.
That's primarily what I do, and that's all my commission work is at the moment.
Maybe
Are you in AutoCAD?
I can do AutoCAD, but I prefer to use Blender
Okay. Yeah.
just because it's a lot simpler of a program and
Right.
free.
Right. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people use Blender, so that seems to be the one that gets. I feel like it does the most in the least amount of time as far as the learning
Yeah.
curve and stuff. So
Yeah, absolutely.
that's
But
cool.
I've worked with so many different architectural design programs and Blender's always been the one that I default to. It's just been so user friendly.
Yeah, cool.
We need to
That, and it was the first program that I ever learned how
remember.
to use, so
Right.
that could have something
We
to do
need
with
to
it.
remember.
Yeah.
We need to remember this. This world is not our home. Yet to come. Home yet to come.
I have a friend of mine who is working on a game. He's building it in the Unity engine, and I was watching him work on that a little bit. I'm gonna try to get him to stream with us on our website. So,
Yeah, that's what actually got me really into watch my work, was because I was just starting the game design, because I was trying to make a dating sim when I first joined.
yeah,
And then I realized how much work is put into a game, and eventually I'll come back to it. But
yeah, right. No, seriously, even the little bit that I feel like I have an understanding of, it just,
Mhm.
I mean, it seems like, I mean, dude, I don't even know if I would ever be able to do something like that. I would love to work on the graphical elements of it.
Yeah,
as far
and
as
that's
the
pretty
branding
much
and stuff.
how I feel about it.
So, yeah. But I don't think I would. I don't know. I don't think I could ever get into the actual code monkey side of things.
Yeah.
It seems way.
Well, I've been doing programming for years, so.
Yeah.
Because
Do you ever
I
find your
developed my first website when I was like 13,
you need?
and it was terrible, but it was my first website. So.
No, but your age and the achievement of it alone is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So.
I actually was considered a hacker, quote unquote.
Do you ever
Because
find
when I was 12, I think, I got my first computer, and I had been taking library as my extracurricular in middle school. So I was always on the computer at the school, and that's with the old DOS. Like, maybe they had Doom out at that point in time. Maybe.
God has a perfect?
Yeah. So, I learned how to mess around
God
with
has
the school server settings and all of that.
God has a
It's
perfect.
awesome.
Now that I think about it, I probably shouldn't have done that, but
Hindsight's
time, it was
2020, man.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I
But
understand.
and then I actually helped a security firm fix their security options, or help them lock things down, because they had a huge gaping hole in their programming where just about anybody could change anybody's password.
Ugh.
Oh yeah,
Ugh. That sounds
and this
important.
was yeah. And this was a company that deals with credit cards and all sorts of information. You could find out people's home addresses, and yeah, it was just bad.
Yeah, that sounds
And-
horrible.
But it only worked for Windows 98. If you had anything before or after Windows 98 as your operating system, like, you wouldn't know anything about this
Huh.
little bug. So it was a very weird thing they had set up.
Gotcha. Do you use Windows 10?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have that now.
Have you heard about Spybot? The program that they have that like blocks all of your personal information from being sent to Microsoft.
I've heard about it. I wouldn't trust it.
Okay.
Really, any external program is a 50-50 chance on if it's trying to steal your information
God
itself.
has a perfect path.
Right.
Especially when it comes to security. Like Norton, I don't really trust because
Interesting.
there's a lot of things in its code that are kind of red flags for me.
Yeah.
I honestly think that Windows is the best thing to have for internet security and for your security,
Yeah.
which is saying a lot because I don't really like Windows knowing any of my information, but
Right. Right.
of all the programs out there, none of them really compare to Windows code.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
And they don't store that information on a server for more than 32 days.
Wow.
So,
Interesting.
yeah, it gets reset every
God made
month, basically.
Huh. Didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
God made you.
That's cool.
God made you.
Yeah, I recently upgraded to Windows 10, and
Mhm.
I had done it like I had upgraded like
God made you.
shortly after the whole like big push came in, and you know the little thing popped up and said I could upgrade.
God made you.
But when I did it, I just did the upgrade, and a lot of my programs at the time had like
You were.
compatibility issues and all sorts of nasty things. So
Yeah.
I reverted back to 8.1.
Yeah.
God made you from a set.
I have a golden rule whenever I'm going to update a OS, and that's always to wait at least until 6 months after it's out.
Yeah, that sounds like a good.
Because
Good rule.
after that point, they deal with
God
all the
made you-
security issues, they deal with all of the program problems,
Right.
and
Definitely.
that's probably the best way to do an upgrade. Like, even if you're buying a new computer, I
God
would
made
always
you
go
from a-
with the next step down, unless it's been after 6 months of an OS being out.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. I mean, like it cost me about a good 3 days worth of work because I was just totally out of commission. Couldn't use my computer. And so I just, I did the whole wipe and reinstall thing, but that takes so much time.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when, not only do I use like a lot of programs, I also use a lot of plugins within programs. And so, that was, I had to kind of quickly sort through that.
That's no fun.
Yeah. But now, everything runs great, and I have to say Windows 10 is a pretty good operating system. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
it's much better than 8.1, or, it just, to me, it runs faster. I don't know if it's small optimizations they've made, but I can definitely tell a performance increase, so that's always
Yeah.
good.
They have a few
God made you-
graphics card issues that they need to work out, but
Yeah.
I don't know that they will, because
Eyes observe
like most
my
Windows
ways.
8 computers were already souped up when they pushed their launch, so
Yeah.
it might be a couple of years until they start getting to the older
God's
things
love
that
for
they
you.
even do.
Yeah.
Because I have a really old graphics card in my computer. I think it's like an AMD R7
Oh, okay.
from 4 years ago
Wow.
when I
Yeah.
first built this computer, so. And that's why I've been having so many graphics card issues, and then I realized that Google Chrome hasn't fully updated to Windows 10.
Yeah.
So, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Looks like Chris hopped on the chat and watched me work.
How's it going, Chris?
Yeah, Chris, I'm just on the grind, man. Just making these little videos. I feel like I'm never gonna finish them because there's so many of them, but I think I'm almost halfway done with today's quota. So, but yeah. Let's see.
Oh yeah, I forgot that he can actually hear me.
yeah, you're patched in through my stream, so.
Yeah.
Which is cool though, because that, like, to me, that makes it a little bit more connected, you know, like I needed that instead of just like playing really relaxing music and just sitting here working all day. So
Moment by moment.
yep.
I just made the comment that he can actually hear me, and then I still type.
And yes, Chris, if somebody came out with an auto edit button that just takes care of all of the stuff you don't need, and I would pay so much money for that.
Every day.
Yeah, but sometimes it'll delete things that you do
Right.
want, because, like, if you want an awkward silence in something, then I don't think that would work. I
Right.
think that's why it's not out yet.
Every day is an
Yeah, I think the imperfections are, you know, just as
Anytime,
important,
Chris.
you know. So, but yeah.
You should hop on here sometime.
Yeah, he should. With his little Mac microphone.
Yeah,
every
absolutely.
day.
We got a new streamer on. I've been helping her set up her stream for the last couple nights. And that's crazy in the Discord chat.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's any issue, but she's almost 13. So I don't know if that's a problem.
Huh.
Like, if that affects any legal issues. Because I know for most websites, like, anybody over the age of 13 is welcome,
Yeah.
but I don't know how our EULA is.
Yeah. I thought for sure Twitch had some kind of
The Lord wants you to
filtering process in that regard.
They do. I think they have it set to 12 or 13 as well.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Huh. Well, I don't know, to be honest with you on that one.
You got 6 hours of calls ahead?
That's
oh,
insane.
Geez. I don't want your life.
That's crazy.
the Lord wants you to be
Oh my gosh.
bold and courageous, for He is with
6
you.
hours. Jeez. We
I'm
need to
definitely not jealous of you, Chris.
we need to pitch in and buy him like one of those like fancy secretary headsets.
Yeah. They're only like $30.
True.
Problem. But you can turn your
If you
face
want a
up
really
to
good one, I'm
Jesus.
sure it's 120 or something ridiculous, but
Yeah. I gotta do some audio corrections real quick, so
no problem.
do that real quick.
The Lord wants you to be bold and courageous, for He is with you. Take time to get to know Him, and you will understand Him better. As you understand Him better, your God is with you wherever you go. And you remain confident in His Word instead of robbing Him, you're choosing to follow Jesus. When you open the eyes to your heart, you will see Him like never before. He is here with you. Be watchful and choose Jesus every day. Matthew 16:24.
Okay. Alright. I think I'm good. Two down, two to go.
Yeah, I've had a Bluetooth headset in the past, and it's been really good.
Yeah, Chris, that is true. I am one of your people lined up today to be talked to. I feel like I'm going to the principal's office or something. Just kidding, just kidding. All right, let's see.
It says in 2 Kings 22.
So I should be able to do. Oh, got a phone call. 1 second. Hello, this is Andrew.
Hi, Andrew. Is Nathan in? Nate in?
He is not currently.
He's not in right now. Okay. There was somebody here wanting to see him, so I just was checking to see if he was in.
Okay, I may be able to help them if it's anything media related.
Well, no, they are from Ecuador, and he was there, and he wanted to see them.
Oh, I see.
So, anyhow, I'll tell them then. Do you expect them back today?
He did not give me a return time, no. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Thank you then.
Yeah, have a good
Okay. Okay, bye.
Bye. All right.
Welcome back.
We have a like a little phone line here in the room, and at random points throughout the day, I'll get calls, and I have to. When my coworker's not here, I have to make sure and answer. So I'm not.
So do you work at the church or
Okay, so
at your own studio?
I work at a. The best way to describe it is it's a school, sort of like a master's program, but for specifically for people wanting to get like a degree for like if they wanted to be like a pastor or something. So it's like a higher education type thing, and I have an office here. I do VHS conversions for them because they have like a backlog of like 30 years worth of VHS tapes that they want to digitize. So
lovely.
Yeah. So yeah, no, trust me, it's it's a lot.
Yeah. No, I get that. That doesn't. No, I'm glad I don't have to do all that editing stuff.
Right, and so
that's terrifying.
I use I have like a little VCR and then like a little Elgato video capture card or whatever, and I basically just put a tape in, hit record, take it out, and then just rinse and repeat. So that's what they technically hired me to do, but really the benefit is I get an office space with them. So that's what I like.
That's a plus.
Yeah. So, but dude, OBS is destroying my CPU today for some reason. I have all my settings turned down pretty low too, which doesn't make any sense. I'm actually, the next thing I'm looking to purchase is a new processor, and I'm trying to get my computer up to like a workstation status, because I started out I built it honestly just to play games, and then I kind of over time started doing video editing, and then now that's pretty much all I do. So I'm trying to make the switch to a workstation CPU. But for now, I do not have one because they're so expensive.
Yeah, I think that's what I started my computer as, was a gaming PC. And thankfully for my modeling and stuff, it does all right, but I think I'm ready for an upgrade too.
Right. Yeah, I actually it was kind of a splurge, but also it kind of worked out as a good deal as well. But I recently got a GTX 1070. So yeah, dude,
the really, really awesome one that I've been eyeballing for a good 2 months. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I use it even right now. It's being used. A lot of my plugins use CUDA core optimization, so it's not being used to its full power in video editing. But as soon as I get into After Effects and I start doing 3D graphics, dude, it comes in so nice. Like, it'll use like almost 100% of it for rendering, and it speeds up. I mean, it probably cuts my rendering times in half easily.
Wow.
So
Awesome.
yeah, so it worked out. Like, so a lot of my hardware, even though it was designed for gaming, it still optimizes it. So that's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I recently upgraded to 32 gigs of RAM, and
Nice.
After Effects just kind of laughed at me and was like, "Yeah, I'll take all of that, thank you." It didn't even make a dent, but it's still fun to do. So.
Man, this fish is so detailed. And I'm just doing a small pixel art. That's all it is. Like, I've spent a good 3 hours on just this one beta fish.
Right. Are you a perfectionist? Like, in the sense of, like, you work at something
yes
more than you
and no.
should, usually?
Yes and no. It really depends on what I'm doing. I probably
Not even begin.
would say that I'm being way too perfectionist when it comes to this, because it's just going to be something small on a stream that you'll see for maybe 20 minutes
Right.
at a time. But it's...
Just began reading.
But yeah, it really just depends on the project.
Gotcha.
If somebody asked me to just throw some blocks into a 3D space, I mean, I'll do that, but usually I try to add a little something to it,
Yeah.
make it my own,
Gotcha.
because anybody could do that. And I don't feel that I should get paid for something that anybody can do.
Yeah, I understand.
But yeah, I'm being way too perfectionist about this. I'm going pixel by pixel, basically.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, I forgot to mute. Whoops. I tried to hide my addiction as much as possible when I'm streaming.
We have a good bit of people on this channel. Like, we got 7
Yeah.
online and then 11 offline. That's a good bit.
We have 7 people online?
Yeah, I think two look,
Holy cow.
2 or 3 maybe are like yellow, which I don't know what that means, but
The yellowish orange means that they are, they just finished recently, in like the
Ah.
last hour.
oh, okay.
So we have 2 people online, but still, it's awesome.
Yeah,
It's really nice to come on late at night and see that people are streaming,
right.
because that's been something that I've been trying to work on, to get people on at night.
Yeah. There's
That
such
way
a
we
big
have
market.
a continued viewership.
Right. Yeah, I mean all the Twitch viewers especially, it seems like they watch at nighttime. So
Fashion
Me
and is
included.
finding her.
Like, that's my only time that I watch Twitch videos or Twitch streams is
Look at
because
this. Here
it's
I
just
am,
the
comfortable in a
perfect
bush.
thing to fall asleep to,
yeah.
if you can sleep. If you can't sleep, like me, then it's something to listen to anyway and
Right.
try to sleep.
Yeah.
So
I used to
and I do that with podcasts and everything else,
cool.
because pretty much all day I do something very intensive and requiring a lot of focus.
Yeah, I understand. I used to have like a hard time falling asleep, but then I started sleeping with like a fan on, and just like that white noise really helps me. It seems like it kind of helps take my mind off of whatever my mind is wanting to be on. So, maybe.
Yeah, it helps some people. I'm just natural born insomniac, so
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So there's not a whole lot that can help me except for Lunesta, but I don't take medication unless I absolutely have to.
Yeah, I would definitely advise against that, as I'm sure you know. So.
Yeah, I feel very strongly about medication because I was considered to have
Sorry.
just a general mental
In Chronicles
disorder
10:30.
of ADD when
In
that was
Chronicles-
popular.
Yeah. Definitely.
So I was on all sorts of medications as a kid, and none of them actually helped.
And turn your eyes to Jesus.
So I'm very much against taking medication
I feel like
if I don't have to.
them at one point. It was like everyone was getting diagnosed with ADD.
Yeah.
Like all of my friends, even the ones that like I felt like had really good focus and concentration, at some point they had been told like, "Oh, you may have ADD." Like I think they even tried to pin that on me, and fortunately my mom was like, she was like really involved with like my schooling and stuff. Like she substitute teached and stuff. So like as soon as they like tried to say something, my mom like immediately jumped in and was like, "No, not at all. Like, you know, he's just a kid. Kids have a hard time focusing on one thing for extended periods of time. Like it's pretty normal." So
Yeah.
Be thankful for.
Yeah, I wish I had that kind of outlook from my
My
family.
oldest
yeah,
But they were like, "Oh, medication, here you go.
yeah, I understand.
And stop bouncing off the
My
walls."
oldest-
And I stopped bouncing off the walls, but I didn't feel great.
Right. No, I understand it. I totally understand.
learn and to trust in the God who made them.
And then what was weird was I got to college, and it was like people were just taking Ritalin or whatever to like study,
Yeah.
and I didn't understand that.
Best
Yeah,
interest.
well, it had a very interesting effect on the body where
Right.
it created
Can't even think about
insomniacs. Like, I think that's where my insomnia comes from, is because I took Ritalin and Adderall and all of that
Okay.
very early in my life.
Yeah,
Lately, the news and media have
Yeah,
can't even think about
it had a very weird effect on people's bodies where you just could not sleep even if you tried.
wow.
Lately, the news
So it's fully
Plan
understandable
and allow
that people would
to.
take it as a recreational need to study work
Yeah.
or work drug.
Huh. Yeah.
lately the news
Yeah, I had a friend who started taking it, and he was like taking it to study, and then he would also drink coffee at the same time. And I told him, I was like, I really don't know if that's a good idea, because I feel like those two things, like the caffeine and Ritalin, do two very different things. to
That's
the
a heart
body.
attack waiting to happen. Is
Yeah.
what that is.
Yeah, and I mean, not to go into too much detail just on his behalf, but he basically really went off the deep end. So
Yeah.
he basically just had a day where he snapped, and it was like, he literally like left and moved out, and I never heard from him again. So
Oh jeez.
I definitely tell people not to do that now.
Yeah, no. Drugs are
second
bad. Like,
There's
not to
something
quote
older
South
things.
Park or anything,
Here's-
but drugs are really, really bad. And
Yeah, no, they
Uh,
are very bad.
In
where
second
I grew
Chron-
up, like, drugs were very common and very easy to get to.
In Second Chron-
Yeah,
And I may have, well, actually, yeah, I partook a few times, and I really don't see the full appeal anymore. It's just
Right.
like, why? Why would you want to risk ruining your life over something so, over just a euphoric feel for a few hours?
right. Yep,
We're getting deep in conversation here.
I know. I was going
Whoa.
to say I should probably turn my audio on stream off or something. I don't want to put your information out there.
Oh no, I don't mind.
But yeah, no. To follow up, like I went down that path as well when I was in high school. I feel like for me it was just because there just wasn't anything else to do, and
Yeah.
my curiosity got the best of me at times. and everybody else is
Yeah,
doing it. Not to quote the infamous like everyone else is doing it line, but that definitely played a factor.
No, it has a
You know?
huge part in why people start drugs in the first place. It's
Yeah.
one,
Second
loneliness, and two, peer pressure.
Right, and
Because
wanting
that
to
is
be
a real
accepted.
thing.
Watch his glory fill you up,
It's
just as
huge,
it did
man.
the temple.
Yeah.
I was not prepared for the amount of like influence that peer pressure would have on me.
Yeah, I don't think anybody ever is, though.
In Second Chronicles,
Which, on the flip side, when I finally got into like some really good friend groups, it like made a huge difference for good in my life, you know.
you won't be sorry if you do.
So it's
Yeah.
kind of like it can do really good or it can do really bad.
Yeah.
In Second Chronicles, friends.
Does she repeat that?
Yeah, I've
In
kind
Second
of
Chron-
cut out a lot of the people in
In
my
Second
life
Chron-
just because they were just not good for me.
Yeah.
And I really only
Okay,
figured
I
that
get
out
it.
after I turned 18 and realized what the world really was.
Yeah.
Invest. You won't be sorry if
Right.
you do.
Yeah, I think
You
I've
won't
done
be sorry.
much better in my life now that I've cut those people out.
Right.
I compare.
And it always like feels really bad at the beginning when you're
Mhm.
like, you know, when you're wanting to pull away a little bit. You always feel bad, but then you recognize that how much better you are doing once you do that, you know.
And I think
I
that's a
compare.
huge part of growing up is realizing who is good and bad for you. Like, that's what shows that you are an adult now.
Yeah.
I
the
don't
Lord.
agree with the
I'm
whole
sorry, Jim.
the way that the legal system is with age limits,
yeah.
because there can be somebody who's 21 and should not be drinking alcohol because they don't have the common
Oh,
sense.
absolutely. I mean, yeah, I totally agree with that.
And in my household, I guess it's not illegal now that I'm 21, but when I was younger, we had alcohol all the time in the house, and my parents were very about if you can handle it and you can take care of yourself on it, then you're allowed to do it. And
Yeah.
basically, if you drink responsibly and like if you're going to go to a party, you don't drink, or you're staying there,
Right.
because nobody's going to pick you up and nobody's going to drive you.
Yeah.
So
And those were the days
Yeah.
before Uber.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of companies popping up which are just making the world not the greatest place. Like, Uber's a really good thing in some ways, but it's also really bad for the kids who are going out and drinking because they don't get that understanding of responsibility.
Oh yeah. No, I totally agree. I mean, I saw a post. One of my friends, he's an Uber driver, and he posted like a screenshot of the reviews that people gave him,
Yeah.
and they were all from like drunk people, and it was just like you could clearly tell that the person was drunk when they typed it because it was just like, great writer, spoke very kindly, did all things well. You know what I mean? Like, you're just like, what in the world? You're either from a foreign country.
Yeah,
or...
I write reviews like that either way, whether I'm drunk or not, which currently I can't drink, so. But yeah,
Yeah.
so I may have been one of those people, you never know.
That would be funny. Let's see. Okay. Well, I'm probably gonna lock in and try to finish up my work here.
Alright, man.
So it's been really cool chatting with you, Jake.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll definitely do this more. I'll probably be a little bit more fun to talk to when I'm just chatting and at the same time.
Yeah, no problem. I don't want to distract you. So.
No, I wouldn't say that you
go
distracted
do
me.
you.
I don't think you
I'll
distracted
work on my
me.
bait fish.
But all right, man. Well, I will. I'll talk to you later, buddy.
Yeah, have a good one.
All right, see ya.
There are so many battles.
Pierced for my transgressions, wounded for my sins. This man of sorrows came to take my place. King over creation, slain for my salvation. Unspeakable love, abounding grace. Now I am coming to this holy place. I am drawing near to seek your face. Jesus, your blood has made my hands clean. So I will not hide my face from you. Jesus, your blood has made my hands clean. So I will not hide my face from you. You have won the victory, you have paid the cost, while I was still in sin.
And his people. Jehoshaphat did what a true leader should do and sought the Lord. Praise the Lord. The Lord set the ambushes and set ambushes. There are so many battles in our life. Use it every chance you get. There are so many battles in our life that we want to run. There are so many battles in our life that we want to run with a weapon. Use it every chance you get. In 1 Thessalonians 4, 1 Thessalonians, receive that joy and dance in it today. In Ezra 3, this must have been to the Lord.